Hello, my name is Elizabeth Tifank, and I'm a classical pianist and a piano teacher for many years. As many of you might already know, I have recently launched an online course called Studies for Advanced Piano Technique in an Approachable Manner. Embedded in my course is training the whole body for correct instrumental technique with Dr. John Maloney. I use the tools of imagery to describe different techniques on the piano and how to play correctly. And Dr. Maloney's portion, training the whole body, addresses strengthening the different muscle groups that we use to prevent injury and to increase stamina in performance. If you want more information on that, you can go to www.pianotechnique.guide. But in my course, I just didn't have enough time to address ear training. So we know ear training is very, very important. After all, a great musician is a great listener. So I decided to put on social media these little short segments of tools that you can use to help you listen better. We're going to begin with the understanding of the connection between visual harmony and colors and the connection of auditory harmony in colors, the connection between different pitches. Ear training tips, clues to better listening in color, the links of color and sound. As musical people, it's wonderful to experience everything we see or listen to in our day with as much fullness and enjoyment as possible. So let's talk about color and how we notice colors in the world around us. There have been studies on how the brain connects to sound as we listen and play our instrument. Well, there are also brain connections with our vision and color. Different colors have different ways of stimulating our brain. I think of them as color vibrations for our vision perception. These color vibrations reflect at different levels depending on the color we are seeing. Green, for example, is the color of life. It calms the spirit. Just a walk in the forest proves that very easily. The backstage green room in a concert hall is green for that very reason. Bright pink, on the other hand, hits the brain very strongly. Let's say it vibrates quickly and loudly on our brain's stimulation. One bright pink wall can make a whole room scream pink, even if the other colors are white. That's a brain thing, can't help it. Red brings energy, perhaps with thoughts of sharing laughter and a great meal with friends. Blue is peaceful, like the ocean and the sky. That would be the vibrations, the reflections, and influence of the singular notes of visionary color on our brain, let's say. We make an association of life experiences with the color, even without realizing it. Yet there are reflections from the light hitting the color also. Reflections. Let's go a step further to understanding the relationship of visionary color harmony and sound color harmony. In the study of physics and sound waves, certain notes played against each other create different moods. It happens naturally. The sound waves of different intervals are either relaxing or tension-driven, just like certain visionary colors next to each other can look pleasing or ugly. It's how they relate that makes us train our ears to listen deeply. A perfect fourth and a perfect fifth interval are perfect because their sound waves run next to each other perfectly in parallel lines. On the other hand, the minor second and the major seventh intervals clash dramatically. It's how the intervals naturally reflect on each other in waves, just like visionary color reflections. It's a natural thing. Why is the fifth chord built on the fifth scale tone from the first note of a particular scale, that tone center, the tonic? Why is it called the dominant chord, that fifth chord? Now, it's not a rule made by some guys with powdered wigs in a dark room in Europe 300 plus years ago who just decided to call the fifth dominant. No. It's physics. When a note is played on the piano, it's like a pebble thrown into the water and a ring of sound waves spread out. The string vibrates as it is struck or plucked, and then the sound waves spread out. The next string that vibrates with that string outside of the octave above is the fifth above. That's called sympathetic vibrations. Listen to the fifth interval, playing it upward and then downward. For example, that would be C to G and G to C. Done. Sounds final. Finished. Now play the fourth interval upward and then the fourth interval downward. That's the subdominant, which vibrates a little less in the sympathetic vibrations. That would be C to F, for example, and F to C. Now listen. It's almost there, and open sounding as the dominant, just a bit dull. The thirds and the sixths intervals are next in the ring of vibrating sound outward, that sympathetic vibration. They sound sweet and pretty. They are peaceful sounding sound waves as they reflect against each other. Then the seconds and the seventh intervals are the last in the ring of sound waves. They are so close to the tone center, that tonic, that the vibrations and reflections clash and scream at each other. So when children ask, why is the sky blue? The answer is scientific. By now, we all know that it's the only color that comes through the prism of light from outer space. So you might ask, why do some musical harmonies reflect a pleasing sound and others clash? The answer is scientific. It's the vibrations, the reflections of sound color. Sound color vibrations, those sound waves, either go in smooth lines against each other or they clash, and the tension comes. We can think of it as the color wheel of sound. Visually, in a color wheel, bright purple and bright red next to each other, let's say the vibrations or reflections are challenging to look at. Both have strong vibrations. That could be that minor second interval. Green and red, well, Merry Christmas. The peace of green and the happiness of red, that could be the major sixth or the major third interval reflections. Music in living color. The better our listening skills are, the more confident we will be in memorizing and performance. Just sharing some thoughts to help you recognize and identify your intervals faster, to understand harmony and how it works and how it doesn't work. We have only just begun. I have so much more to share with you on the training of relative harmony. So stay tuned. And by all means, we invite you to browse our website, www.pianotechnique.guide if you would like to learn more about studies for advanced piano technique in an approachable manner. We are here to help you reach your goals. Okay, hello everybody. Can you hear me? Raise your hand if you can hear me. Hi. Well, we are going to have a wonderful. This is welcome to webinar number 2 in this series on ear training, memorization tools. I welcome some people I haven't seen before and some people that have been here before. First of all, I see that Paulina had hooked up. Is Paulina still there? I think so. It's let's go down. Polina Kolikova, I think she's there somewhere. Polina is. It's such an honor. I know she's traveling right now. She lives in Europe. She is one of the featured artists that I have uh, followed through my entire course, studies for advanced piano technique in an approachable manner. So it's great to have Polina on board, listening in. Vera, I think you've been here before, Vera. I don't see your picture, but I think I've seen. I think you've been here before when we were talking about other things a while back. Is
Yes,
that
I
true?
was. Yes, I was.
Yes. Oh, well, welcome back, Vera. And Rodney. Hi, Rodney. You're a new friend, aren't you?
Yes, brand new.
Okay, great, great. So I want to just give you a very quick uh, introduction, a background, and a short review on what we did last week. We're going to be building on what we did last week, and I'm sure Rodney, Vera, you'll be able to catch up like just like that. I'm sure of it. Now, my background is I've been teaching piano for, it's been a lifelong career. I studied with some really I'm so fortunate and so blessed that I studied with some really wonderful teachers. I studied composition with Dr. Ronald Mazurek, which is a very well known composer. And I've been playing the piano since I'm 6 years old and teaching piano. I began teaching piano when I was 16. I've had some amazing teachers, and I got to the point where I was taught so carefully and well, by some of my teachers, that I realized that when I was taking especially technique, and bringing it over to teaching my students, how many times I would have to retrain my students on correct piano technique. And that's why I developed that course, the course Studies for Advanced Piano Technique in an Approachable Manner. And also that the history of so many people becoming injured from playing the piano incorrectly, not using their whole body to play, that I decided to hook up, to partner with a chiropractor, on training the whole body for correct instrumental techniques so people won't get injured. But putting all that aside, I want to get right down to today's. I have so much to share with you. And it's always those first sentences that I just don't know where to start, if you can imagine. Now, if you're a teacher, Rodney, are you a teacher already? Are you a teacher? What's your history, hon?
Um, I started pretty late. I was like 17, but
Okay.
I did major in music at school in piano performance, and
Really?
yeah, I didn't. I started graduate school, but then I got married and I never finished. So now I'm returning. I'm 50,
Okay.
and I'm kind of returning back to the piano. Just trying
All
to get back
right.
into it.
Good. You're still a young
I,
puppy.
yeah, I still have like I generally get like 3 hours a day of practice time if I can. So
Excellent.
time is not an issue. Yeah.
Oh, good. Wonderful. And what type of music do you play?
Oh yes, classical. I mean, I don't play well as far as the. I had an incident with Bach on my junior recital, so I'm getting back into the Baroque.
Oh,
You know, I
okay.
I I didn't appreciate it when I was learning.
Okay. Wonderful.
Now
Lovely.
looking back, I mean I love it. I love Bach, but I love all classical music.
Wonderful, wonderful. Do you cross over and play any other composers? Any other?
No,
No, okay, okay. And
no other types of music, just classical. No
okay.
jazz or nothing like that.
Oh, okay, okay. So do you have issues with memorization and with playing by ear?
Playing by ear, yes, because I've always
Okay.
played by, strictly by just memorize my music. I've never.
Oh, oh, okay, okay. Well, then
I would
you're
love
in
to
the
be able
right
to play by ear.
place.
Yeah.
You're in the right place then. Okay, Vera, do you have problems with ear playing by ear and memorization? Is that why you came on board here
Yes,
today?
yes, a lot, a lot. Yes.
Okay, good. Okay, you are in the right place. I'm going to help you.
Okay.
Okay,
Thank
so
you.
before we officially start, let me just read this off. For if you're a teacher, a student, or a returning adult, I won't call you. You know what the word amateur really means? Does anybody know? Amore means love. So when we use the word amateur, it's really a person who loves something so much that they don't care if they're making money at it or whatever. They're just there because they love it. And I guess we're all amateurs. We're all still learning in a lot of ways, don't you think? I think so. Anyway, so if you have any questions, my website, my email address is right on the screen here. Take a picture of it. I am recording today's session, so you will get that in your email sent over to you, okay? So that you can, watch this over again, everything you learned. But by all means, I'm very approachable. I am really doing this so that I can multiply myself so that it's not one student at a time. And I'm doing this for free because I couldn't fit this into my technique course. This is its own skill, ear training and being able to play by memory. So if I would add that onto my technique course, we'd be here for 20 years. Okay? So, but I will try to answer your question within 24 hours, not 20 minutes. I'll try for 20 minutes, but it might not happen. Okay. So, the goal for this webinar and for the previous webinar is being able to see the whole picture to improve your ability to listen deeper, improve your memorization, and increase your confidence and performance. I want to be able to give you the ability to cross over from note reading, music, everything, and being so note dependent. So let me just get down a little bit over here. So the way we're going to do that is by learning to sing and to play our intervals, the distance between notes. We're also going to get into, not today, because we're not ready for it yet, but we're going to start doing melodic dictation. And do you all know what melodic dictation is?
Yes, that was the bane of my existence in school.
Well, I'll help you. I'll help you.
Yeah.
Melodic dictation, Nada, you might not know. So I'll just say this for Nada, two sentences. Melodic dictation is, you have a staff, and I give you the name of the first note, and then you listen, and then you try to write on the staff the names of the notes that come after. We're not ready for it yet, but we will get there. Okay, Nada, don't give me faces. You can do it. You can do it. So, and then we will also study how to listen for chord resolutions, which is going to really tie in. Rodney, this is going to help you a lot, especially if you're a Bach guy and you love Bach and whatever pieces. We're also going to learn how to tap. We're going to train how to understand rhythmic patterns, to decipher rhythmic patterns. So that all these things are stepping stones to help with memorization and to be able to play by ear, so that we're not just dependent on, as Janine has told us, muscle memory. I remember from last week. Okay, so that we're more secure in performance. We get so much more out of the music, okay? We are also going to learn how to analyze the compositional journey of a piece, okay, so that when we're playing something by memory, uh, or even if it's we're reading the music or whatever, but we're trying to memorize something, we need to know, from listening to it at the very very beginning, what is the where is it going, what is the development compositionally, harmonically, and what is the last thing, which is actually last is first. We have to understand that each piece that we play, we don't just play it to play black dots on a piece of paper, and not the music is sound. What we're looking for is to create an image or a purpose or a story behind a piece, so that the piece comes alive, so we get the most enjoyment, so that other people get the most enjoyment. So we're going to go down the list. Okay, so over here, the tools that we are using are two different sources for right now, for today, and I might dip into some other sources too. But let's start with this. We have Catherine Rollins' series called Museum Masterpieces. I tried to pick pieces that were not technically difficult, so that we could really break down these concepts easily, so that you can apply it to your Bach, apply it to your Schumann, or your whatever you're learning, your Chopin, or whatever pieces you're studying. So Museum Masterpieces by Catherine Rollin, and Stepping Stones by Bach by Eleanor Byman. You can see it over there on the screen. Okay, so those are going to be the things that we're going to use to help break down and understand. Now, this is a quick review of last week, and then we're going to build on last week. We got as far as understanding that to study a melodic line, it would be important to be able to understand the distances and hear the distances between notes, the intervals. And we do that by using the tool, it's very simple, of singing and playing. Okay, singing and then playing a note. And last week we studied the fifth, and the fourth. It's amazing how this helps. Were you the people that were here last week, were you able to do that? Did you love it? It's really great. Okay, so I'm going to just do a very quick test, because we have to go to a lot of other things. What interval is this? If you know the answer, raise your hand. Anybody have a guess? Nada, what do you think it is? Guess again. That's the fourth. Okay. Janine, you probably knew the answer, and you were
singing it. I didn't want you to hear me sing.
Oh, hey, listen. It's okay, darling. It's
bad.
really
My
it's really
children are like, we didn't know you were going to take up singing too.
yeah, I do this with all my students, and what I do when I'm sitting next to a student, especially if it's a tween. Tweens are very, inward, and they don't like people to hear them doing things like singing intervals if they're not used to singing, is that I will sing loud over you. So because my voice is nothing, and I tell them I love you so much that I am willing to let people hear my voice. I'm willing to let you hear my voice. So if when you this is a review assignment, and I'm adding a lot to it. So Rodney, Vera, what you need to do is, you'll see later in the assignment, you have to sing and play, going all the way up the keys, singing and playing in doubles. C to G, C to G, and then G to C, G to C, and then compare it with, which is what we're going to add today, we play it melodically and harmonically. That's harmonically, right? And this is play it melodically, very slowly. When you sing it and force yourself to put those notes in your voice, it does something for the brain, and it's like a little miracle where your brain starts to hear it better, because when we're playing our instrument, we're always looking, we're just having the notes sing for us, and it's kind of turning off a little bit of our deep listening. Okay, so it's important to listen, but it's another way of listening. So today we're going to listen, do more of the interval studies. We're going to look for patterns and repeats in the score, and we are going to not only look for melodic and harmonic resolutions, but today we're also studying the rhythmic journey.
Can I
Okay?
ask a quick question?
Yes, hun.
How do I make the transition? Because when I worked on intervals and learning this stuff on my own, I was doing it by associated with the piece or with with the song or popular song. But I want to be able to recognize them just as is, right offhand, as opposed to trying to think, oh, that sounds like the entertainer. That's six.
Yes. Okay, you're asking a very good question. You are once like two sentences ahead of me.
Mhm.
Yeah, you're going to see. Hold on. Let me finish out this thought and keep that thought, because you're going to see it. I'm going to apply it immediately to I believe it or not, stepping stones to Bach is Bach.
Mhm.
Okay, so you're
Okay.
going to see. Give me a second.
All
You're
right.
right on. You're on the money.
I have a
X.
thought also about what Rodney just said. So I've been doing up by stepwise motion. So when you play, I go up the scale to the interval. So I'm not associating it with a song, but I'm going up step by step up the scale. So if it's like a perfect fourth, I go first, second, third, and then I hit the fourth, and I'm like, okay, so that's a fourth. Or a perfect fifth. I hit. So anyway, that's what my thoughts on what Rodney is saying.
Oh, explain that a little bit better, because I want to make sure I understand your question.
Okay, so I go up the scale. So if you were to play a fifth, I
Mm-hmm.
start with C, singing it, and I go C, D, E, F, G. And I'm like, oh, that's the note. And then I'm like, okay, that's a perfect fifth.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how I'm working on identifying these intervals rather than saying, oh, that sounds like Mary had a little lamb or something.
Okay, yes. There's different ways to study it. Okay? There's different ways to study it, as far as like if you're doing a fourth, a lot of people go to Amazing Grace. Da. That's another way of studying. Yes, that's a very good way. So if you're doing a if you're doing a fifth, you could do you that's another way of thinking is oh e oh from the Wizard of Oz. Okay, so there's all different ways to make that connection. So by just singing it, it's going to also, that's another way of getting there. Another way of getting it. Okay, let me go on to I have to get back to the next page. Okay, let me get to this over here. Another way to make the association is on the actual music. Let's go to, hold on, let me get down to a piece. Hold on a second. Okay, so we're looking at over here the Brandenburg. Okay, this is a transcription by Eleanor Beinman. Okay, she's a Bach specialist. It happens to be my teacher. I've played for her many times. Now, Rodney. Uh,
Yeah.
okay, so looking at this score here, you see the first um, in the first measure, those first two notes are what is that? What interval is that?
If talking right, he's talking about a perfect fifth.
A perfect fifth. Okay. Do you know it as looking at it and you're going lines, another line, and then a line? It's line. Is that how you think it?
Um, I don't know. I just kind of, I mean, I just know them on sight.
Okay.
I just
Good.
kind of, because I've been doing it for so long, I just kind of know intervals on sight, but I just can't sing them or,
Okay,
you know.
so that's where you have to. We're going to take this. I'm going to jump ahead and then bounce back. Okay, only because you asked this wonderful question. Okay, so if we're going to this piece over here, we could play just the first line, right hand. It's stepwise. We're going up a fourth, skipping down a third. Third is going to be our new one that we're going to listen to today. Pattern. Now here comes another a pattern. Down 3 notes, pattern. We talked about this last week. Okay, for the people that were here.
Hey, can you fix that
Thirds, but
towards
each
you?
time the pattern starts, we have going on here a third, getting up to a third. So when after you've played it, I'm going to just play, if you're just playing those first 6 measures and thinking along the terms of patterns and intervals, after you play it, you stop, which is a lot of people don't do this, they just keep on playing it over and over again. You stop, you look, you sing it without playing it. This makes a huge difference. So you just read it, dum, dum. You're not playing it. You're not using the mechanics of playing it. Okay? It creates such a focus. A lot of times people, what they do is they focus, they play a piece and they play it over and over and over again. And they don't focus on, like, say, 8 measures at a pop. In this case, we're talking about 6 measures at a pop. Okay? So you need to, we're jumping ahead to memorization tool. First tool is that you have to stay with that right hand. Be very stubborn and stay with it and practice it by playing it, stopping, looking at the music, singing it, stopping, playing it after you've sung the intervals. Then you go back and you analyze also the pattern. Say if I made a mistake in measure 3, which is the beginning of line 2. Say instead of playing, I went to the A. You stop everything and you look at it and you say, what did I do wrong? You look at the fingering. Fingering is very important. It's all about focus and being stubborn. And saying, I'm not going to go on to the next 6 measures or 8 measures or whatever it is until I understand and internalize that part. That's where a lot of people skip in memorization. Another thing, another step, which we'll get down to the further down. I can actually bring you to that page right now, the memorization page. Hold on. Let me get it down to memorization page. Okay, implementation on memorization. I'm going to bounce back and forth. I did promise my people today that they would have a chance to touch on memorization. Then we'll bounce back to the ear training. Okay, does everybody think that's a good idea? I think it's good. Okay, so consistency of practice. No, step 1 for memorization. It's slow, mindful practice. Now, it's very hard. Rodney and Vera and Nada, Janine, you all probably have jobs besides playing the piano, and we have responsibilities. I mean, even if it's just making your pot of ragu, right, Nada? and whatever you're doing, it's just, but you are a busy professional. I know you are, but you know what I'm saying. You're in Italy. That's why I'm saying that. So, yeah, no matter what you're doing, the important thing is to find consistency of practice. So really, to make memorization happen, you have to be at the piano. I allow myself 5 days a week. It's pretty much impossible on Sundays because, I'll be in church and probably playing in church, And by the time I get home, I'm zonked. Saturdays are complicated. So I will touch the piano on a Saturday when it comes to practicing. Something for I might be playing on Sunday, as far as that goes. But as far I'm talking about the memorization of classical music. Okay, so consistency of practice for me, it's 5 days a week. Okay, 5 days in a row. Consistency. Now, what I do is I day map. My responsibilities are different for each day of the week. Some days I have a students at certain times of the day, different than other times of the day. Okay, so you day map. Next thing is the slow practice, which I just mentioned. So slow practice involves 10 times right, 10 times left in small segments. That's where people go, they get too involved. And then when that's understood, you can take the music, take it off of the piano, okay, and test yourself and see if you really have it understood. You start to watch your hands. So you know you have a fifth here. So we have here muscle memory also, but also if I'm going, oh, I said, ooh, that's supposed to be a fourth. You get the idea? And then I go into study, I make sure I know the pattern and have the fingering understood. What you decide on your fingering early on, especially if you're playing Bach, right? You decide, you know this already. Rodney, you know this already. But just to make sure, I have to say it for everybody to know. You know where your secure fingering is, don't compromise. And if you make a mistake in fingering, consider it a mistake. Fix it. Go back and say, okay, what did I do wrong? I know what I did wrong. Understand what you did wrong. Then, document how you're progressing, okay? I write down my assignments. What, like a certain day I want to accomplish a certain piece I want to play. I write everything, even if it's only scribbly and nobody else can read it. I know that I didn't get to yada yada, but I got to the other thing I wanted to get to, okay? So also take the music completely off the piano. I call this, for my students, I call this pulling a Juilliard. I don't know why I call it that. It's just that when you've ever see your student playing in a conservatory and they're whatever, everything is, the piano is completely clear. Take everything off the piano. Make it so that the piano is flipped down. I don't, it's just something I call it, pulling a Juilliard. And then test yourself. And then that's a different feeling. You could also, and only look at the music, take the music. Sometimes I put the music on the floor actually, and then I pick it up and say, oh, that's where my mistake was. And if I know I have to pick that music up off the floor, I'm going to try my best to get it all the way to the end. Now, another thing is I zone in on the image and stay with that image as I play and record my playing. So from the very beginning, the Schumann that you love, Janine. Okay. So before I start playing, now you can look at my course there because there's a picture for this piece on my course of a child playing. Did you see that picture? Okay, you got to look at it. It's listening assignment number 2. So before I start playing, I'll be thinking of this child running and playing. And then I go to the piano and start playing. In concert, most of the time, you see the pianist will, and I have my students do this, I train them a lot on that. They never, when they're going into recital, they never just walk to the piano and start playing. No, they have to think before they play, just like you think before you speak. So that's very, very important. So, and then you have to stay with the image. If you zone out and you start thinking of other things, you're not focusing. Stop, even if you're not making mistakes yet. Stop and come back into it. Start again. To you're training yourself. Memorization is a tool that is like a muscle. Just like we have, our muscles, our forceps, our biceps, everything. Our triceps have to get stronger to play well on the piano, so we don't become injured. The same thing is with memorization. Is something that even if you're 50, 60, whatever, however old you are, you can still be trained to be able to memorize. It's just that you have to know you have permission to do that and do it the right way. Does it all make sense? Okay, yes, Janine, tell me more.
Question. So when you're playing by memory, you're not thinking in terms of, oh, now I'm in a, I'm in the A section and I know that there's a little stepwise motion here. And now I know that I have to leap up here and then I have to watch for that E that's coming up. It's more of thinking in terms of the image, or do you do both?
I pull from different sources, okay? Yes, you do both. But I find the more I stay with the image,
Mhm.
the more I step out of myself. There is actually a feeling that I get, and I've actually asked Noah Kagiyama, who I interviewed for my course. In one section, he's a performance psychologist from Juilliard, and he's the author of A Bulletproof Musician. And I know I asked him in one of the interviews, do any of your people that you counsel at Juilliard, do they ever feel like they step outside of their body and they're listening to themselves? Because I have gotten that sensation. Like I'm not, it sounds weird. I hope it doesn't sound weird,
No, I
but
get it.
but
Yeah.
you're just stepped out
Mhm.
of and you're in such a zone that, well, that's what I call the transporting performance, and it goes beyond the A section, or the B section, or how the piece is developed, the different,
Mhm.
so that's a very, very good question. So in different times you have to pulse, and sometimes it's such a level of concentration. There's times where I've had my eyes closed and I'm playing, and then I open my eyes and, like, for a minute there, I almost can't see. I can't describe it to you, but it's happened to me where everything looks a little blurry. I'm just telling you how it is for me. Not that I'm anything, you know, I still have a lot to learn, but that's just how it affects me. And I think everybody's different. If I think Paulina, I know she was on a train. I would love to hear her say what she goes through, because she's an award-winning concert pianist. But I know she's on a train. She probably is in a section that she can't. She got disconnected. So, how about, is any feedback from maybe anybody else before I move on to something else? Oh, what can I say? One more thing. It's also important to sleep enough, exercise, and having healthy food choices, especially if you're going into performance. A lot of my students would don't want to eat before they play. I'm talking about the teenagers that are like, "Oh, okay, Mrs. T, no, I don't feel like eating anything." I say, "No, honey, you at least have a couple strawberries or something to make sure you have the stamina to get through your whole concert." Okay. I just haven't. Is anything like, Vera? Do you have any questions? Is there anything you want to say, hun, before I move on? Because I can't see your face.
Uh, it is a little difficult for me to understand everything.
Am I talking too fast, sweetheart?
It's not being faster. It just I I don't understand everything. I don't know
Okay.
why.
Okay, well, stick with it for a minute, because maybe as I go, I jumped ahead. Now I'm going to backtrack, okay, and see if you get more, because you weren't here last week, and I don't mean that in a negative way, but
I couldn't
perhaps I will break
even.
it down further as I go. Let me go back a little bit and do a bit of a review. Okay? So, let's go to, okay, divide. No, let me go back a little further. Okay, now this is going to be part of your ear training assignment. Okay, you could take even a photograph of this with your phone if that helps, but you will also get this in the recording that I will send you. Okay, so when we're doing ear training, we have to sing the note and play it. And I mentioned last week, day one is this is a review from webinar number one. We sing and play the perfect fifths, then the perfect fourths. Then we do a test warm up, and then we're going to add the major third intervals. Do you all know what a major third interval is? Okay, how about you, Vera? Do you know what a major third interval is, hon?
Mm. Yes, yes.
Oh, okay, okay, okay. So what you do is you go very slowly. I'm going to demonstrate how to do day three. I'm sorry, day two. Okay. So you're going to do a test warm up where you're going to sing and play, for example, C to G, C to G in doubles. And you're going to go downward. G to C, G to C. Then you're going to sing it. Then you could hear that sounds hollow when you're playing together. When you do the fourths, that sounds a little duller, a little bit more dull. C to F, C to F, and then you're gonna go C to G, C to G, and then you're gonna go upward, downward. Do that a few times, let it digest into your brain. This takes a while. You don't get this in one day. You get better and better as the weeks go on. Then you go to the thirds. But you have to sing it. C to E, C to E, C to F, C to F, C to G, C to G. Back and forth, back and forth. And then day three, you add contrasting listening to the sixth. And you could go even slower till you really hear. Let the pitch, let the sound wave die out. This is listening deeply. You're forcing yourself to focus. And then you go downwards. A, C, A, C. Sometimes after that point, you're singing it sometimes and not playing it. So it's forcing you to really focus. That's what a lot of people, I even know really wonderful piano teachers that own schools of music and have told me they have a hard time memorizing their music. I'm like, okay, what's wrong with this picture? You know, and this is because this one person in particular, I think she's so multi-talented. She's an author of novels. She plays very well. She's a great teacher, but she can't seem to memorize. She's a dear friend of mine. And the problem is that she's so brilliant, she never sits still long enough. I mean, there's no reason, unless you have something something neurologically holding you back. The average person
I'm just saying average people. It's a muscle.
Mm.
It's a muscle. You can be taught. Just looks like you can be taught to make these muscles stronger. You can do this.
Thank
Okay.
you so much for saying that.
Oh, it's definitely. You just don't give up.
Yeah. Could I ask
Okay.
you one more thing? So
Sure.
about this, so you're doing it in in the key of C. Should we try going into other keys as well and testing it out?
Yes. Oh, yes. Absolutely.
Okay.
I should
Yeah,
have
yeah,
said that. Go up the scale. Go up the scale and down. So, I'm just using C as the anchor here because I could be all over the keyboard. Yeah, don't let that happen. Go, hi, Hannah.
Hey, Misty.
How are you, sweetheart?
How are you? I'm enjoying your webinar.
Oh, is this Hannah, the Hannah?
Yes.
Oh my God! Oh, okay. I'll catch up with you. I just love this. This is a student that I taught in New Jersey. This is one of the Martin girls. There were 4 of them. Little Irish angels. Oh, Hannah. Oh, okay. Calm down, Mrs. T. Okay. Now I'm gonna get to day number 5. Okay, on day number 5, oh, I'm thrilled to death. I have to pull myself together here. I'm thrilled to death. Day 5, we have major seconds, major sevenths. Okay, now with the major seconds and the major sevenths, we get into really hearing, as in the color wheel of sound, the clashes. So they will be easier to identify in a lot of cases. I have so much to show you today. How am I going to show it all? You hear that as da da, but together. You hear the clashes of the sound waves? Now check this out. Here's an octave. Octave is right. Okay, in the sound wave world. Oh my God, you can't miss a major 7th interval if you're looking for it. Okay, so going back to focusing on everything, and you're creating the listening deeper. Okay, so then we're going to add to this at day 6, which if you can find time to fit in a day 6 or a second practice session, a second listening session. This is another thing. Let's talk about listening. One of my fellow musician friends, he's our bass man, who we love our bass man, He's this excellent musician. He said many times the ears get tired. So after a while, he plays he can read music. He can play bowed bass and bass the other way, the bass guitar. But he has said, the ears do get tired, and then you shut down, you stop listening. So if you could walk away and then revisit, after your ears. So, I mean, it might, one listening ear training session, 15 minutes, might be all you can take on that day. Exactly like exercising. As we build more and we're able to focus more. So let me get down a little bit further. Let's go to, okay. So divide and conquer. You're going to do a focused ear training application of the piece. Okay. So that I mentioned that already about focusing. Okay. Now we're gonna look for patterns. So let's go back to the Bach and look for repeats and slight changes. Let's go down to the Bach. Okay, let's see. Uh-oh, I'm going the wrong direction. Okay, here we go. Okay, so I'm gonna take it to okay, this Bach over here. Okay, the harpsichord in. Okay, so this we're not only going to look at the harpsichord concerto. These are all transcriptions, Bach transcriptions from the that are easy to approach. Even if you are a more advanced pianist, you can more than more, you would really enjoy this because it really breaks down. On this particular harpsichord in D minor,
Oh no.
okay,
Wala tayo. Wala ba nang call?
in the harpsichord in D minor, I see a lot of rhythmic patterns, which is what I wanted to touch on today. Is that we have rhythmic patterns happening. If you look at it, it's now check this out. It's okay. Up to that point, the pattern is dum bum 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 bum. You see what I'm saying? That pattern. Now you can apply that to your ear training. So you can do, if you have, you're studying any interval. Let's give me an interval name. Think of a number. Okay, I will. Let's do thirds. So measure 2. You see what I'm doing? I'm taking measure 2 rhythmic pattern and I'm applying it. So that's also training you to find your patterns. Okay, with Bach, especially with all music, whatever you're playing, you need to find the rhythmic pattern. Okay, and that internalizes and makes it so that you make beautiful music. Okay, so going to let's take for example now the people that received last week's recording. I have to give you a heads up because of copyright issues. I am not allowed to for Catherine Rollins music. We would get in trouble if I put the score up, so I can't put the score up. But I would recommend if you're a teacher or if you want to, you just buy this series, Museum Masterpieces by Catherine Rollins. It's easy music and it's so gratifying. Let's apply all the concepts of rhythmic patterns, and then I want to talk a little about harmony in a minute and the intervals that are happening. This piece over here, I'm going to play a little bit of it. It's called Woman on the Balcony. Let me get the picture of this. Woman and child on the balcony. Let's see. Woman, and can you see this gorgeous picture? Okay. So Catherine wrote this piece thinking of having the visual of that piece and applying it, to a beautiful sound. And then I'm going to compare that with the pianist, the one with the edgy one from last week, because all we're doing is we're hitting from so many different angles. Right now we're hitting on imagery, okay? Then we're going to bounce back and forth. Imagery, but there's also in the opening. Now I'm just going to play it for you, the right hand, and you tell me what the interval is in the first measure. You ready? Okay, put on your thinking cap. What's the interval?
Fifth, perfect fifth.
That's right. It's a perfect fifth. Exactly. Okay. So just listen to how beautiful this is. Isn't that gorgeous? Now, let's talk a little bit about it. Let me do a comparison. Okay, hold on, let me find it. It's supposed to have a little ticket on it. What interval is this?
again. Perfect
It
fifth.
is a fifth. Okay. This is the opening for that edgy piece, where is that picture? Do you know which one I'm talking about?
The cubist.
The cubist picture, right. Let me just get down to where it is. I went the wrong way. Okay. Oh. Oh no. I'm sorry, people. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, how did I do that? All right, 1 second. I'm still new at this. I can play the piano better than I can do these kind of things. Here we go. Oh, there you go. This picture here. So the cubism. Okay, so now with this one, I'm going to talk further on. Okay, this is a fifth interval. They're all fifth intervals.
They can't.
Okay, can you see the picture now? Can you all hear me?
Yes.
Okay, great. Hi, Hannah. Now I see you. Beautiful. Oh my God. Okay, so this over here is a fifth. It's all a fifth going up, but I want you to be aware of the pattern, the initiation of the pattern of fifths going up. Instead of sounding sweet, it sounds hollow. Why? Hollow and edgy, like the painting. Why? I'm glad you asked that question. Okay, the reason why it sounds hollow, how edgy, is the interval, the chord it's based on. Does anybody know what kind of chord I'm talking about? What chord is this?
Is it diminished?
It is. It's diminished. So you can recognize that, and you recognize it in your music, your Schumann, your Beethoven. You hear this. It sounds. So when she wrote this. It sounds, and then she was all. And then the whole thing goes into. It's all the same pattern in this hand. Now watch, here comes a change. So you find where it changes. Where does the pattern change? And it's so easy to see in this piece. Now let's go back to the other one. We'll just keep on, week after week, we will just reinforce these concepts until you get it. Okay, so you can apply it to all your pieces, okay? Now going back to the beautiful woman and child, we have fifths going on here. How are we doing time-wise? Ooh, time's almost up. Here's a fifth interval here. And then another fifth interval. Okay, so against the other chord in the other hand. You see how pretty that sound is? Does anybody know what kind of chord that is? It's that kind of chord again, and it's that kind of chord again. Isn't that a beautiful sound? Sounds jazzy, doesn't it? Sounds jazzy. What do you think? What's that interval? What do we say sounded very edgy and very
Diminished.
It's not diminished.
Maybe it's augmented.
What, hon?
Maybe it's augmented. The other one.
No, not augmented. Major.
Second.
Seventh.
Seventh. Oh.
Remember we talked about the major seventh? Okay. Okay, so we're going to have to finish very soon, but I want to end with this. Okay, I have so much more to tell you, but I know we have to stay on time. Major seventh. Repeats. sorry. So it's all this kind of that sound. So that's what I want you to get used to. So let me give you your quick assignment. I know you people have other things to do. We will reinforce this lesson more and more. I do have time for questions and answers if you have more things and concerns. Okay, so for your assignment this week, class. Okay. Now, I always over assign and over prepare. So I want you to dabble with this the singing and playing intervals, which was in that review for webinar 1 for the melodic. Now you're also going to, for webinar 1 review for the G chord, going to the C chord, and then start with the C chord, go down to the F, F goes to B flat, B flat goes to E flat. Okay, do that whole review up to there. The second day, do the E flat to A flat. You see how it is on the thing? Now, let me make a mention too. The left also. In the left hand, you just do the fifth. The right hand does the chord, the simple triad. See what I did there? Then I start with the C and then resolve it to the. So it's always thinking it's going from the 5 to the 1. 5 to the 1. Okay? Do you all understand that? Okay. Then take it very slowly. You don't have to do everything on this assignment because you're all, I think, Hannah, you're in college, right? Are you graduating this year?
No, I'm a junior. Well, I'm becoming a senior, rising senior.
Oh, wow. So are you done with the semester then, right?
Yeah, I'm home for a little bit.
I bet you made the dean's list. I know you. I know you. She's an excellent pianist. Excellent student. Oh my God, I can't believe it. It's so good to see you, sweetheart. So, going to contrast listening for webinar number 2. You could do it as you see it here. See how much of it you can take. Don't be hard on yourself. This is purposely spanning levels. So take it and focus the way you would focus for a piece of music. Okay? Little small chunks. And be thankful and understand that if you only get up to day 3, that you recognize and you be happy. Repeat day 1 if you're still making all kinds of crazy mistakes. Okay? Eventually what we will do is combine intervals. We really didn't have time for it today, but this is all part of your full assignment. Let's see what else is there. And I mentioned the implementation of memorization. Look this all over. This all will be sent to you. Think in rhythmic patterns. Okay. Any questions?
Just to ask one more thing about
Okay, sure.
the memorization.
Mm-hmm.
So we should go through this process not only for like a new piece, but even a piece that's super established that we've been playing for quite some time, to go back and do right hand, left hand, 10 times with the right hand, 10 times with the left hand. We should do that.
Well, it depends on how secure you feel with the piece. If you're memorizing it, I would say do it. It might not take as many times because you already have the piece in your hands. So yes, whatever it takes, that you could take that music off of the piano and be able to play it, thinking in the terms of, we hardly touched on chord resolutions today in class. I could do this like every other day. You know, I could, this one group here, but your lives are everybody's life is complicated. So if you apply just what you're learning today all the way down the line, you'll learn a lot. I think you'll learn a lot, and it'll work out good. How about you, Vera? I don't see your beautiful face, so if you could just tell me if you have any questions, just unmute and talk to me, honey.
No, thank you. Thank you.
Oh, okay, okay. So apply what you understand. Did you understand any of it, Vera, or most of it, Vera, or did I make it clear enough for you?
I understand a little bit, not very much.
Okay, okay, no problem. We have your email address, and we will make sure we send out this recording. Okay. How about you, Hannah?
I'm good. I'm gonna rewatch the recording because I wasn't here for part one.
Okay.
So, yeah, I'll be watching that recording too.
Okay, and I can't wait to get news from you when I email you. Email me back, tell me all about your sisters and everything, okay?
Absolutely.
And hug your mom for me.
Of course.
They have the best mom in the whole wide world. They really do. These are lovely, lovely girls. And what about you, Nada? You okay with your stuff? With what I gave you, hon? I can't hear you, hon. Nada?
Okay, I got my audio working. No,
Okay.
I'm good. Just one favor. If you
Okay.
can just demonstrate contrast listening P5, P4, and major 3. The first day day
Okay.
1, contrast listening P5, P4, major 3.
Oh, okay, okay. Those are Let me just get there. Okay. P is an abbreviation for perfect fifth,
Oh, okay.
perfect fourth, and major third.
Okay.
Major third is the third scale tone of that major scale. So, in other words, if you're doing a major third of D, off of D, it would be D to F sharp, not D to F. If it's
Okay.
D to F, it's going to be a minor third.
Okay.
Okay, which stay with C, stay with D, and then go up to E to G sharp, F to A. This is all on the recording.
Okay.
Okay, and just take it that far, and then go backwards, and that's enough for the first session. Okay. The
Okay.
minor would be always the flatting of that third scale tone. Okay. Okay. Good.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, everybody, love you very much, and it was wonderful to teach you today. I enjoyed every minute.
Thank you.
Okay,
Likewise.
take care. And that next lesson. Will probably be Thursday of next week. Are you all good with Thursday? Okay. Thursday. I would like to make it for 2:00 if that's possible. You all good with 2:00? Thursday at 2. See you then. Okay, take care.
Bye.
Bye bye, everybody.